Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I thought I'd do a Q&A because as a result of the RNIB sharing a few of my posts, very kindly of them, I've had various people kind of noticing me and coming forward and asking me various questions about my Aniridia and Nystagmus, my eye conditions, which is great. I'm very grateful those people came forward. I'm very happy to answer questions, and if more people want to ask me things, then I'm happy to do kind of more Q&As like this. So I thought I'd summarise the answers I've given them in case they're of interest and of use to you as well. So thank you to Sam, Charlotte and Nadine for the questions I'm going to answer in this video today. There's a fair few to get through, so let's crack on with them. Starting with Sam's questions, first of all, what do you think affects your vision more, Aniridia or Nystagmus? For example, you might believe Aniridia is 35% of the reason for worse sight, and Nystagmus is 65% of the reason. It's difficult to quantify it precisely because I've never had each condition in isolation, so it's hard to say in that sense, but I would say the Nystagmus definitely does affect me more because it's always kind of there in terms of its effects. You know, I always cannot see things at a distance clearly. I always have to have things close up. In terms of focusing on things, that's always an issue. The Aniridia more takes place when I'm outdoors, you know, in the bright daylight, in the bright sunlight, or in the dark when it's more difficult for me to adjust in the dark. It only really comes into play at home then when I'm in the dark at home. You know, if the lights were to go out, then I would struggle to adjust to the dark then as well. But generally speaking, Nystagmus is always there when I'm out or indoors, and Aniridia takes more precedence when I'm outdoors and I have to wear sunglasses then. So if you wanted me to put a percentage on it, I suppose Nystagmus is kind of 75% maybe of my sight that I notice most, and then Aniridia is kind of like the 25% when I'm out and about. But it depends how often I go out, really, I suppose. So yeah, it's difficult to put a figure on it, but Nystagmus is definitely the major effect. So the next question, how do you think your vision would be if you had just Nystagmus? Do you think your eye movement has slowed or changed since you were a baby? If I just had Nystagmus on its own, I would still have trouble with distance vision. I would still need things close up to read them. The outdoors light wouldn't affect me so much because I wouldn't have to adjust to it. It might be a bit easier to see in the dark, but certainly focusing would still always be an issue anyway with just the Nystagmus. Maybe if it didn't have the Aniridia involved, maybe it wouldn't be quite so bad, maybe, but even at the moment my Nystagmus isn't too bad really compared to what it is for some people. So I don't think it would change a lot other than the lighting issue really. If I had Nystagmus, the lighting issue would go, but the focusing would remain a problem. And I don't think it's slowed or changed since I was a baby. It's not likely to get any better. You know, it doesn't. It's just with you all the time. You can't cure it. So if anything, it's more likely to get worse over time. Although the more likely thing is that the Nystagmus and the Aniridia will stay constant, but I'll develop cataracts or glaucoma or something like that. Not necessarily guaranteed, but I'm certainly more likely to. I think the eyes kind of age or deteriorate slightly quicker because of the condition. So if that kind of thing happens, then I'll try and stabilise it. You know, I'll try and get cataracts taken out or whatever, things like that. But so far so good. I'm doing all right. But then there's a lot of years ahead of me yet, so who knows? But yes, so far so good. It hasn't got any worse, or not that I've noticed, unless it's very, very, very gradual, which is possible. But it's not going to get any better either. But that's fine. You know, I'm happy as I am, so that's not a bother to me. So yeah, I'm happy as I am at the moment. It's pretty stable so far. Next question, what do you think about the speed of eye movement? In other words, if you have rapid side-to-side eye movement in short distances, do you think that it's better or worse or harder for seeing compared to one with slower side movement that has longer travel? It's hard to say for sure without experiencing the different variations, of course, but my logical assumption would be that it's harder to see with the faster, more rapid Nystagmus because there's no time for your brain to focus on it, whereas with the slower movement, you've got a bit more chance of seeing the detail in things. So that would be my assumption, but I don't know. Next question, how is your depth perception? Not great in terms of figuring out distances and things. I'm rubbish at that. Like I say, I can't focus on things at a distance. I can't tell you how far away something is. I'm rubbish at kind of estimating distances. I don't know, you know, how far a meter is or whatever. If I were to be jumping off something, I wouldn't know how big the drop was. You know, I might have some idea if it's short or long, but the bigger the drop, the harder it is to work out how big that drop is really. Staircases are okay if they're well marked. If they're not so well marked, then I've got to concentrate harder to work out how big each step is and just take me time stepping down onto each one just to make sure I'm safe. So yeah, I'm not good at kind of judging distances and things like that really. So yeah, if I'm stepping down off things, then I'll just have to be careful. In terms of distances, I just use my binocular or go up close to things to read them instead. And then how is your speed of tracking? Awful. I can't focus on things kind of quickly enough. So if someone throws a ball at me, then I won't see it to the last possible second and I'll be kind of scrabbling around try and catch it. 99% of the time I will miss. If I happen to catch it, it'll be pure luck probably. If I'm walking along the street and a bike is coming towards me, I won't see it until it zooms right past me on the pavement, which I hate. I've talked about that in my Room 101, my visually impaired demonstrations video. I hate it when bikes do that, just whiz past you, because I really just don't notice them until the last possible moment. They're just non-existent to me until they're right bang next to me. And if something appears quickly on the TV, like a bit of quick text or something, then I can't usually read that quick enough. I usually have to kind of rewind or pause to look at it. So my speed of tracking when it comes to fast-moving things is pretty bad. Have you met others with Nystagmus? Yes, loads. I went to the Nystagmus Network's open day recently, so there was obviously lots of people there. But as far back as school, I met loads of people with it because I went to a special school for the visually impaired. So I got to know people with Aniridia and Nystagmus and all sorts of other conditions. And through blogging, I've met people with Aniridia and Nystagmus as well. So yeah, I've got quite a few contacts and things with the conditions that I have and others too. So yeah, there are a lot of us out there, and it's great to have that connection, especially with the online community now, bringing people like that together who would never have the chance to chat before. It's great. And you can arrange real life meetups from there, like as well as the Nystagmus Network thing I went to. I also had an Aniridia meetup the other day as well in London after the Sight Village event. There's about 10 of us there, all connected with Aniridia in some way. We either had it ourselves or there was a parent there of a child with Aniridia. It's much easier to meet people with the same condition as you these days, be it online or in real life, really. It's with the internet, it's a lot easier now. Are there actually folks you know with Nystagmus who have pretty good visual acuity, i.e. they can see road signs, bikes, balls coming to them, etc.? Well, the effects of Nystagmus do vary, so there will be people out there with it who have slightly better sight than me. And the fact that I have Aniridia kind of complicates things for me as well. So somebody with just Nystagmus will have a bit of an advantage over me. But I've got so many visually impaired friends with all sorts of different conditions that it's kind of hard to make a fair comparison, really. There are one or two people who are visually impaired who can see better than me, they can see better at a distance, and yet there are others who can see worse than me, even though they've just got Nystagmus necessarily, not Aniridia. So it's very, very variable. There's no guarantee that someone will be able to see better than me just because they've got one condition rather than both. It's a very personal thing. So yeah, there will be people out there who are better than me with Nystagmus, but I don't think there's anybody I know who's majorly better who has that condition. I don't know anybody with Nystagmus who can drive, for instance. They may well exist, but I don't personally know anybody that I'm aware of who has it that I can think of. Okay, so moving on to Charlotte's questions. I have spoken to a few families with Aniridia and Nystagmus, but none with both. My daughter's Aniridia isn't full Aniridia, apparently, which confuses a lot of people. They call it iris hyperplasia, or a variation or form of Aniridia. Have you ever been familiar with this? Well, again, it's the fact that everybody's condition is unique and varies. Aniridia varies. Some people have a partial iris, some have no iris at all. The amount of iris you have does vary. So I'm not surprised to hear that someone has a partial iris. It's certainly very, very possible with Aniridia. Iris hyperplasia I'd not heard of, but looking it up, it kind of tallies with that as well, because it's about the kind of underdevelopment of a particular part of the body. So yeah, that makes sense that they would have a partial iris. So yeah, that seems to tally, but like I say, I'm not a doctor, so I can't advise too heavily on that, but yeah, it makes sense. My daughter doesn't have prescription glasses, as they have said they can't fix her vision with glasses. Is that the case for you? Yes, I can't wear prescription glasses. When I was at school, they did try different lenses on me to see if any would work. They didn't. Glasses can't cure Nystagmus anyway. I do wear my green tinted glasses for the Aniridia to kind of reduce the glare, but your child might not need that. With children, it's perfectly adequate to start with normal sunglasses, see how they get on, and if you find they need more, then you can try other things. It's very much a case of experimenting to begin with. Don't go too extreme, just kind of experiment and just work your way up as you figure out what their needs are, because you don't know, not even the child knows what their needs are to start with. It's very much trial and error. But no, prescription glasses haven't worked for me, but they might for your child, or for someone else with Aniridia. It's all, again, very unique and personal again. So yeah, like I say, it's just a case of trial and error, really. Is there anything in particular you struggled with as a child? Well, I struggled with bullying as a child at the very first mainstream school I went to. So I was pulled out of there very quickly and went to a school for the visually impaired. But it did take a while for me to build up my confidence after that, because obviously I felt I was kind of in the wrong, I was different, I wasn't normal, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that took a while, but no, other than that, I was fine really, especially as my confidence grew. I didn't have a problem with things. And there's no guarantee that a child with a visual impairment will get bullied. That's what happened to me, but these days there's a lot of training and support out there for children these days, so I would hope it's less likely. It's probably going to happen here and there, unfortunately, but hopefully there's a lot more support and understanding out there these days for children compared to 30 years ago when I started. Don't take my experience as gospel for what's going to happen to your child, because again, everybody's different, everybody's experience is different. Just wondering if I should get myself a really bright coat or scarf or something that could help my daughter see me. Go ahead, there's no harm in trying things. Your child is learning, but you're learning as well. You're both learning together about what works best. Like I said just now with the whole trial and error thing. Start off simple with basic things, like getting a coat or just normal sunglasses, and then you can see how well that works, and then just work on it from there as the months and years go on. You'll figure things out. You'll figure out what works best and what doesn't. My daughter amazes me with certain things like catching bubbles. Would that surprise you? I'm shocked sometimes at the things she notices, and other times shocked at the things she doesn't. But I'm not surprised she can see bubbles. I mean, they're not always easy to see, but then by their nature, they are made of water, so light does reflect off them. So if the glint catches your eye, and if it's a particularly big bubble, perhaps, or if it's a group of small bubbles, it's perfectly possible to see them. Bubbles don't move as fast as like balls that are thrown at you either, so she'll have more chance to see them and kind of grab them because they won't be moving so quickly. So, yeah, I'm not altogether surprised. They are fairly easy to see in the right light, and they don't move too quickly. But yeah, your daughter will continue to surprise you, and she'll surprise herself probably as well with the things she sees and the things she doesn't see. Sometimes she'll see something one day and she might not see it the next day. Sometimes it's luck as to whether you happen to see something or not, depending on where you're looking. But yeah, I think you'll find your daughter can perhaps see more than you initially realise, especially as your daughter adjusts to the world around her and gets used to seeing as much as she can. She'll adapt well, and yeah, she'll see a fair amount. She might not be able to see it clearly, but she'll be able to make things out quite well probably. And then from Nadine, what causes your nystagmus? Is it low vision or an underlying condition associated with aniridia? Well, as far as I know, it's the aniridia that caused it. Nystagmus often comes as part of the package with aniridia. Not always, but certainly in a lot of cases. So for me, I believe that the aniridia did cause the nystagmus. I don't think I would have the nystagmus otherwise, but who knows? My daughter was diagnosed with foveal hyperplasia. She has aniridia, no iris, and very, very small cataracts. Her eye doctor said the foveal hyperplasia is what's causing her nystagmus. Just wondering if you've lived with the same thing. Well, I don't know the condition. I mean, it's another hyperplasia condition, so something's clearly underdeveloped in the eye, but I'm not familiar with the condition myself. But the assessment of the doctor doesn't surprise me either, because nystagmus does often come part of the package with various conditions like aniridia and other things. So it is fairly common relative to other rare diseases because it comes with them. So yeah, it makes sense. There's a logic to it. I'm not surprised by it. And that's it. Those are the questions that I've had recently that I've answered. So I hope you found that interesting. If you've got any more questions, from something I've said here, or if there's anything else you want to ask me about my eye conditions or anything I've got up to in London or the things I enjoy doing, or, whatever you want to ask me, I'm happy to do Q&As on anything. So by all means, contact me. You can leave a comment here on the video. You can tweet me. You can post on my Facebook page. You can comment on my blog. You can email me via the email address on my blog. There's various ways to get in touch. So yeah, if you want to ask a question, feel free. And if I get a bunch more, then I'll do another Q&A. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Do click the like button if you enjoyed this and found it interesting. Do feel free to leave a comment if you have anything you want to add or ask. Do subscribe to this channel if you want to check out my future videos that I'm going to be releasing soon. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for another video very soon. Bye bye.